big little recipe is a super easy hot fudge made with just 2 ingredients that you probably already have in your pantry. The first ingredient that you need is sweetened condensed milk. I always have this in my pantry. It is shelf stable, it'll stay in there for a long time. I like it in a lot of recipes because it has a 2-for-1 quality. You get the creaminess of the milk and then the sweetness of the sugar. So in something like the hot fudge, it's gonna give us this amazing pourable kind of gooey, shiny texture, and it's gonna bring that sweetness along with it. Our second ingredient is unsweetened chocolate. So you can buy this by the bar or in bulk like I did. You might have seen hot fudge recipes with sweetened condensed milk and chocolate. Often that's semi-sweet chocolate, which is sort of a middle of the road sweetness. I like using unsweetened chocolate because it makes the whole hot fudge a lot more deep and dark and complex. And odds are you're going to be pouring it on something sweet like ice cream. So I actually really like if the hot fudge is just a little bit less sweet and you can focus on that awesome chocolatey flavor more. So now I'm going to chop up the chocolate. If you can get your hand on unsweetened chocolate chips, that's great, but they're not very common, so odds are you'll have a big block or a bar, and you can just break it down a bit with your knife, and that's gonna help it melt a lot more evenly. As I'm chopping, the chocolate is like breaking apart into all these random sized pieces. That's totally fine. The point is to not make perfectly even chunks. We just want to break it down a little bit so that it can blend into the sweetened condensed milk. If you just combined the sweetened condensed milk and the chocolate, it would be really thick. So to make it nice and pourable and drizzleable, if you just combined the sweetened condensed milk and the chocolate, it would be super thick. To make it pourable to go on a sundae or whatever you're having, we just need a little bit of water. So I'm starting with about a 1/4 cup, and then we can add more as needed. And now I'm gonna add my sweetened condensed milk. We're also gonna be adding some salt to taste. So for me, that means about 3/4 of a teaspoon. If you don't like salty desserts or to taste salt in desserts, you might wanna start at like 1/2 teaspoon, even 1/4 of a teaspoon, and then you can adjust from there. For me, 3/4 of a teaspoon is a perfect starting point though. And at this point, I'm gonna turn on the heat and then we'll add the chocolate. Now that our heat is on low, we have our sweetened condensed milk. Justin, you keep making these facial expressions. You keep raising your eyebrows so I said something crazy. Now that our heat is on low, we have our sweetened condensed milk and water combined. I'm going to stir in our chopped chocolate. Our chocolate is in the saucepan. At this point, we're going to stir it until it melts. So at first it will seem really watery and the chocolate will be totally separate from the liquid ingredients, but as it melts, it will get thicker and thicker. That's when you really want to make sure that you're just stirring it the whole time. Once it starts to melt, it'll all come together pretty quickly. The reason that I use low heat here, it's kind of like a safe versus sorry sort of thing. So you could bump up the heat a little bit to make the chocolate melt faster, but if the chocolate cooks too quickly, if it starts to burn, it will seize up, it'll just ruin the whole batch. So I prefer to just keep the heat really low, and then it makes sure that the chocolate melts nice and smoothly. So our hot fudge is almost there. When we started melting the sweetened condensed milk and chocolate together, you could tell the chocolate shards were like completely separate. The whole mixture almost had like a mottled kind of gray look about it. At this point, it's totally homogeneous. It is just a nice, rich, beautiful, deep brown color. I've cut the heat on our hot fudge. It is totally come together. At this point, you could eat it right away if you want, or if you want to add a bonus ingredient at this point, you can totally do that too. So it could be vanilla extract, it could be a pinch of cayenne, it could be a splash of bourbon. Really anything that you have around that you like the flavor of, you can just add it at this point to taste. I am just going to keep it a simple, classic hot fudge with just like a little bit of saltiness, and we are going to serve it on top of whole milk yogurt. Okay, I am all ready to eat my hot fudge. Here I have some full-fat Greek yogurt just because I always have it around. Of course, this would also be great with any kind of ice cream like vanilla or coffee. It'd be great with sherbet, it'd be great with sorbet. Whatever you've got, just pour a lot of it on top. My sundae is all ready to eat. For the hot fudge recipe, head on over to Food 52 for more videos like this. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and let me know in the comments what you're going to be putting the hot fudge on. And I'll talk to you soon.